London, September 15th, 1940. The city is burning. 400 German bombers darken the sky. RAF Fighter Command has 250 Spitfires and Hurricanes left. Barely enough. Pilots are flying 3, 4, 5 missions a day. They're exhausted, outnumbered, running out of time. Britain stands alone against Nazi Germany. Winston Churchill watches from the operations room and asks his air marshal a simple question. What reserves do we have? The answer? None, sir. But what if Churchill had one more card to play? What if sitting on that runway was an F-22 Raptor? The Battle of Britain was the first battle fought entirely in the air. It decided the fate of the free world. If Britain fell, Hitler would control all of Europe. There would be no D-Day, no liberation, no Allied victory. The RAF won that battle with courage, skill, and Spitfires that barely flew 400 miles per hour. But today we're going to ask a different question. What if the RAF had one aircraft that the Germans had never seen, could never match, could barely comprehend? What if Winston Churchill's secret weapon was 80 years ahead of its time? This is the story of how one jet could have changed the Battle of Britain, and possibly the entire Second World War. By July 1940, Hitler controlled most of Europe. France had fallen in just 6 weeks. Belgium, Netherlands, Norway, Denmark, all conquered. Only Britain remained, a small island, standing alone. Hitler's plan was simple. Destroy the Royal Air Force, then invade England. Operation Sea Lion, the invasion of Britain, depended entirely on air superiority. Hermann Goering, commander of the Luftwaffe, promised Hitler he could crush the RAF in 4 days. He had the numbers to back it up. The Luftwaffe, 2,800 aircraft total, 1,200 bombers, Heinkel He-111, Dornier Do-17, Junkers Ju-88, 1,000 fighters, Messerschmitt Bf-109, Bf-110, 600 Stuka dive bombers, all based in France and Belgium, just 20 minutes flight time from London. The RAF, 640 fighters total, 350 Spitfires, 290 Hurricanes. That's it. That's all Britain had. Outnumbered 4-1. And losing pilots faster than they could train replacements. The RAF pilots were heroes. There's no other word for it. They flew missions at dawn, then again at noon, then again at dusk. Some pilots flew 5 missions in a single day. If you were shot down and survived, you went back up the next day. The average life expectancy of an RAF pilot during the Battle of Britain, 87 flying hours. That's about 2 weeks. Tactics. The RAF had one advantage: radar. Primitive by today's standards, but revolutionary in 1940. British radar stations along the coast could detect German formations 50-60 miles away. That gave RAF pilots just enough warning to scramble and climb to altitude. Fighter Command would vector Spitfires and Hurricanes to intercept. Then came the dogfight. Spitfires versus Messerschmitts. Machine guns at close range, turning, diving, climbing. Whoever had better position, better luck, better skill, survived. It was brutal, it was desperate, and Britain was losing. By early September 1940, the RAF was on the edge of collapse. The grim statistics. July-October 1940. 544 RAF pilots killed. 791 wounded. 1,047 aircraft destroyed. The Germans were losing planes too, but they had more to lose. For every German plane shot down, Britain shot down 1.2 German planes. But Germany had 2,800 planes. Britain had 640. The math was simple and terrifying. Britain was running out of planes, pilots, and time. Churchill's speech. On August 20th, 1940, Winston Churchill gave his famous speech. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. He was talking about the RAF pilots, the few who stood between freedom and Nazi tyranny. But what if Churchill had one more pilot, one more plane? Not just any plane. A plane that would make Goering's Luftwaffe look like children's toys. Imagine it's September 14th, 1940, one day before the largest Luftwaffe raid of the entire battle. At RAF Northolt, just outside London, ground crew arrive for the morning shift. And there, in Hangar 3, sits something impossible. An aircraft unlike anything they've ever seen. No propeller. Smooth, angular surfaces, a cockpit that looks like science fiction. Someone has delivered an F-22 Raptor to 1940. The setup. Let's establish the rules. One F-22 Raptor, fully armed and fueled. One modern pilot who knows it's September 1940. The RAF can refuel it. Jet fuel basics existed in 1940s. The RAF can rearm it. Bullets and missiles stored, but no spare parts, no repairs, no reinforcements. Churchill is briefed. He doesn't understand how it got here, but he understands one thing. This machine can fly faster, higher, and hit harder than anything the Germans have. And tomorrow, September 15th, the Luftwaffe is planning its largest raid. 400 bombers, 600 fighters. Churchill makes a decision. Send up the Raptor. Let's be clear about what we're comparing. Messerschmitt, Bf-109, Germany's best fighter. Top speed, 354 mph. Ceiling, 36,000 feet. Armament, 2 machine guns, 1 20mm cannon. Range, 410 miles. Pilot view, eyeballs and a gun sight. F-22 Raptor. Top speed, 1,500 mph, Mach 2. Ceiling, 65,000 feet. Armament, 8 missiles, range 100 miles, 480 rounds, 20mm cannon. Range, 1,800 miles. Pilot, view, radar tracking 100 targets at once, 125 miles away. The gap. The F-22 is 4 times faster. It flies 30,000 feet higher. It can kill from 300 times further away. But here's the critical difference. The Bf-109 pilot has to see his target to shoot it. The F-22 pilot can shoot down a target he can't even see yet. The German pilot would be shot down before he even knew the F-22 existed. Psychological impact. Imagine you're a Luftwaffe pilot in 1940. You've been trained. You've flown combat missions. You're confident. Then your wingman explodes. No warning, no tracer rounds, just explosion. Then another, then another. You look around. There's nothing there. The sky is empty. Then you hear a sound you've never heard before. A roar that makes your aircraft vibrate. Something passes you at impossible speed. You barely see it, just a blur. And then your plane is hit. Controls dead. Engine on fire. Welcome to fighting an F-22 in a 1940 aircraft. You might as well be fighting a UFO. September 15th, 1940, 10:30 a.m. RAF Northolt, Operations Room. Churchill is here personally. So is Air Chief Marshal Hugh Dowding, head of Fighter Command. The radar stations are reporting massive formations building over France. 400 plus aircraft, the largest raid yet. Target, London. The briefing. Dowding addresses the F-22 pilot. We're sending up every Spitfire and Hurricane we have, but we're outnumbered 2-1. Your mission: break their formations, create chaos, make them turn back. You don't have to shoot them all down, you just have to scare them. Churchill adds one final instruction. Make them think Britain has 100 of these aircraft. Make them think we're invincible. The pilot nods, walks to the hangar. Ground crew have painted RAF roundels on the F-22. It looks surreal. At 11:00 a.m., the F-22 Raptor rolls onto the runway. Engine spools up. The sound is alien, terrifying, powerful. Takeoff roll, 1,500 feet. Time to 40,000 feet, 90 seconds. The Luftwaffe has no idea what's about to hit them. 11:05 a.m. The F-22 is at 40,000 feet, 70 miles south of London. The pilot's radar screen shows the incoming raid clearly. 200 bombers in formation at 15,000 feet. 300 Bf-109 fighters at 20,000, 25,000 feet. Another wave 20 miles behind. Total, 500 plus aircraft in the first wave. The RAF Spitfires are scrambling, climbing to intercept, but they're still 10 minutes away. The F-22 pilot makes a decision. Hit them before they reach the coast. First missile, 11:07 a.m. The F-22 selects the lead bomber, a Heinkel He-111. Distance, 85 miles. The German crew has no idea they're being targeted. AIM-120 AMRAAM missile selected. Lock acquired. Fire. The missile drops from the internal bay. Rocket motor ignites. Mach 4. Time to impact, 45 seconds. The Heinkel's pilot sees a white streak in the distance. Then closer. Then, boom! The bomber explodes. Wings ripped off. Fuselage tumbling into the channel. The German formation doesn't know what happened. Radio chatter. Lead bomber is down. What hit him? I don't see any British fighters. Rapid fire. The F-22 pilot doesn't wait. He fires all 6 AMRAAM missiles in 90 seconds. 6 bombers, 6 explosions, 6 funeral pyres falling into the sea. The Luftwaffe formation is in chaos. Pilots breaking formation, looking for the attacker. But the F-22 is 40,000 feet above them, invisible, untouchable. 11:15 a.m. 6 missiles gone, 2 sidewinders remaining. The F-22 pilot dives into the formation. Speed, 900 mph. German fighters finally spot him. A dozen Bf-109s turn to engage, but they're moving at 350 mph. The F-22 is moving at 900 mph. By the time they turn, he's already past them. Sidewinder strikes. The F-22 pilot selects a cluster of fighters. Sidewinder locked on heat signatures. Fire. The missile corkscrews through the formation. 3 Bf-109s destroyed in one shot. The explosion catches all 3. Second Sidewinder. 2 more fighters down. Total missile kills, 13 aircraft in 8 minutes. The German response. A German ace, Major Werner Mulders, one of the Luftwaffe's best, leads a flight of Bf-109s to intercept. He shot down 25 British fighters. He's confident, skilled, experienced. He positions his flight above, where he thinks the mysterious aircraft will appear. And then the F-22 appears, behind him. Mulders never saw it coming. The F-22 flew a loop at 800 mph, physics that shouldn't be possible. The F-22 pilot selects guns. Target, Mulder's wingman. Burst duration, 0.5 seconds, 50 rounds. The Bf-109 disintegrates, just comes apart in mid-air. Mulder's brakes hard right, pulls maximum Gs. His vision tunnels. He looks back. The mysterious aircraft is gone, vanished. It's 20 miles away now, climbing back to 40,000 feet. Mulder's radios his commander. "We need to abort. We're fighting something impossible." 11:25 a.m. The Luftwaffe commanders face a crisis. They've lost 13 aircraft in 10 minutes. To an enemy they can't see, can't catch, can't fight. The bomber formations are scattered. Fighter escorts are demoralized. And now, the RAF Spitfires are arriving. The decision. Oberst Colonel Johannes Fink, leading the bomber formations, makes a decision. Turn back. Abort the mission. In the real Battle of Britain, this never happened. The Luftwaffe pressed on despite losses. But in our timeline, they've encountered something beyond comprehension. At 11:28 a.m., the order goes out. All units return to base. The rout. The bomber crews start turning back. Many jettison their bombs into the English Channel. But the F-22 pilot isn't done. With ammunition remaining, he makes gun runs on fleeing bombers. Each pass, 2-3 bombers destroyed. The Vulcan cannon is devastating against WWU Summers. Their thin aluminum skin offers no protection. By 11:45 a.m., when the F-22 pilot breaks off and returns to base, the score: 26 Luftwaffe aircraft destroyed, 6 AMRAAM, 5 Sidewinder, 15 gun kills. 150-plus Luftwaffe aircraft turned back before reaching London. 250-plus continued toward London, but with broken formations and shattered morale. For comparison, in the real Battle of Britain, on September 15th, 60 German aircraft were shot down by the entire RAF. 400 aircraft reached London and bombed it. In our timeline, one aircraft, flying for 45 minutes, prevented most of the raid. The RAF Spitfires and Hurricanes engaged the remaining Luftwaffe formations, but the Germans are already beaten. Formations scattered, morale broken, fighter escorts low on fuel. The RAF shoots down another 40 German aircraft with minimal losses. Contrast with reality. In real history, September 15, 1940, the Luftwaffe launched 1,000-plus sorties. 400 bombers reached London. Significant damage to London. 60 German aircraft shot down. 26 RAF fighters lost. In our alternate timeline, the Luftwaffe launched 1,000-plus sorties. Only 100 bombers reached London. Minimal damage. 66 German aircraft shot down. 26 by F-22, 40 by RAF. 8 RAF fighters lost. Churchill's reaction. In the operations room at RAF Fighter Command, Churchill watches the plots. The raid is falling apart. Aircraft returning to France. The Germans are retreating. Churchill turns to Air Marshal Dowding. One aircraft did this. Dowding. One aircraft, Prime Minister. But the Spitfire boys finished the job. Churchill allows himself a rare smile. Gentlemen, I believe we just won the Battle of Britain. The F-22 lands. 12:30 p.m. RAF Northolt. The F-22 touches down. Ground crew surround it. The aircraft is barely scratched. The pilot climbs out. He's flown for 90 minutes, killed 26 enemy aircraft, and changed the course of history. September 15, 1940, 6:00 p.m. German High Command, France. Hermann Goering is furious. He doesn't believe the reports. German intelligence crisis. Luftwaffe pilots are describing an impossible aircraft. Faster than sound, shoots invisible rockets, appears and disappears like a ghost, destroyed 3 planes with one burst. German intelligence officers think the pilots are lying or traumatized, but too many pilots are reporting the same thing. Goering demands answers. What is this weapon? Do the British have jet aircraft? German engineers explain, we're developing jets, but nothing like this. This is decades ahead. Hitler's decision. On September 17th, 1940, Hitler makes a decision. In real history, he postponed Operation Sea Lion, the invasion of Britain, indefinitely. In our timeline, he cancels it outright. If the British have one of these aircraft, they may have 10 or 100. We cannot risk an invasion until we understand what we're facing. The invasion of Britain is over before it began. But the war isn't over. Hitler makes a new decision. If we can't invade Britain, we'll bomb them into submission. The Blitz. In both timelines, Hitler shifts to night bombing, the London Blitz. Bombers attacking at night, harder to intercept. And here's where the F-22's advantage diminishes. Night operations. The F-22 has night vision, radar, all-weather capability. But there's a problem. The Luftwaffe learned. They start flying low under 1,000 feet to avoid radar detection. They spread out, no more massed formations. They come at night, hundreds of individual bombers, not one big raid. The F-22 can still shoot them down, but one aircraft can't be everywhere at once. The pilot flies night missions, shoots down 5 to 10 bombers per night, but 200 bombers get through. Technology is incredible, but it can't replace numbers. So what's the long-term impact of one F-22 in 1940? Battle of Britain. Britain wins the air battle decisively. Luftwaffe losses are 20% higher than in real history. German morale is shattered. They believe Britain has superweapons. 1941-1942. Hitler turns his attention to the Soviet Union in June 1941. Same as real history. The F-22 can't affect the Eastern Front. It's one aircraft. The Eastern Front is 1,800 miles wide. So the war in the East proceeds similarly. 1943 to 1944. But here's where it matters. When the Allies planned D-Day in 1944, Luftwaffe strength is weaker. Why? Because in 1940, Germany lost more pilots and aircraft than in real history. Experienced pilots. Irreplaceable. On D-Day, June 6, 1944, the Luftwaffe has 300 fewer fighters. Allied air superiority is even more dominant. The butterfly effect. Estimated Allied casualties saved. Battle of Britain. 18 fewer RAF pilots killed. The Blitz. 500 down to 1,000 fewer civilian casualties. Earlier end. D-Day. 200, 300 fewer Allied soldiers killed. Better air cover. Not massive, not war-ending. But 1,700 to 1,300 lives saved. Because of one aircraft, flying for a few months. But let's be clear about something important. The real Battle of Britain was won by the RAF pilots, not a fictional F-22. They flew Spitfires and Hurricanes, aircraft that topped out at 370 mph, armed with 8 machine guns. And they defeated the Luftwaffe anyway. The real heroes. Between July and October 1940, 2,936 RAF pilots flew combat missions. 544 were killed. They flew when outnumbered, outgunned, exhausted. They flew knowing each mission might be their last. And they won. They didn't need an F-22. They just needed courage. As Churchill said, never was so much owed by so many to so few. He was right. But this thought experiment teaches us something about technology and warfare. Lesson 1. Superior technology matters a lot. One F-22 inflicted 26 kills in 45 minutes. The entire RAF killed 60 in a full day. Technology is a force multiplier. Lesson 2. But technology has limits. One F-22 couldn't stop the night bombing. Couldn't be everywhere. The Blitz still happened. London still burned. Technology wins battles, but strategy, logistics, and courage win wars. Lesson 3. The side with better technology usually wins, unless the other side has better numbers, better strategy, or better will to fight. Britain in 1940 had inferior technology, but they had radar, brilliant tactics, and unbreakable will. And they won anyway. So, could one F-22 have changed the Battle of Britain? Yes. It would have saved lives, shortened the battle, broken German morale. But would it have changed the war? Not dramatically, because the real heroes didn't need superweapons. They just needed Spitfires, courage, and the will to never surrender. If you enjoyed this alternate history, subscribe for more. Next video. What if Hitler captured a crashed F-22? Could Nazi engineers reverse engineer it? And here's a question for the comments. If you could give the RAF one piece of modern technology in 1940, not a whole aircraft, just one technology, what would it be? Modern radar, guided missiles, jet engines. Let me know below. Thanks for watching, and remember, technology changes battles, but courage changes history.